question four. I don't think your creation has to be good to grow from it. I am certainly not great at everything I do. What are some things you create that might not be considered great, but something you still gain value from the creation? And then second part, do you have words of encouragement for those who get discouraged when their creations fall short of their expectations?
Ooh, that's a big question. Um, I think everything that goes out um, has. Let me think about this a second. I think everything that goes out creation wise should be looked at from both the positive and the negative side of things. Like I spent a lot of years being just criticized and constantly nitpicking the negative, and I still do that. It's still kind of like my worst. I would say my worst part of who I am as a creative. And I really have, my wife has helped me a lot with, it's like, hey, can you at least list a positive of what you did? Like, okay, I'll try. She's been really good about helping me with that process of thinking about my art differently. But I think that all your art that needs to go out, I wouldn't say necessarily it has to be good, but you need to at least make a good attempt. Um, I think that like everything that goes out may not be good. It may not be exactly what you wanted, but it has a place. And in every failure, it is a how did my teacher say it? Every failure is a step to the next achievement. Like you have to have a failure. You have to have things that aren't great to be able to go, I need to know what that felt like, what that experience was like, and use that as the next step to go to where I want to go. Um, Being willing to look at each thing and go like, I don't know if that was my best foot forward, but I learned from it. I learned how that process was to get there. Um, I think again, like the idea of putting your best foot into it, giving your best attempt at it, is is probably more important than is that product good or bad or had like looking at the way you got there is important. Um, I think for those that are feeling discouraged about how their creations are maybe not hitting whatever market is that they're looking for, um, I think it's important to keep trying. Don't stop. Don't give up. Um, there will be something that eventually does take as far as what you are trying, not just as you as an artist are trying to express, but what as the whoever hired you, whoever the consumer is. Like I think if you keep working towards it, you'll find that point that's like the sweet spot, and you'll end up seeing eye to eye with that person. If the person is just hiring is just you, then there will be some points you just like you got to accept that what I'm putting out is good. I think that you should keep creating though, like always. Like I mean, it's the idea of practice. My practice is never always perfect, but I'm practicing in a method that will help me produce a better product in the end. Um, and so, like, I think it's good just to create, just to do things. Definitely try things that you've never done before. I recently picked up crocheting. Um, my wife is I would call her a pro level crocheter, pro level knitter. She would probably wouldn't say that, but she is a capable teacher. And she is able to look at someone's piece and go, that's not quite right. We need to go back and fix this thing. Um, but it really got me thinking about like, I've never done that before. I don't know how to do that. Let's try it. And I I of course picked one of the harder things to try and accomplish in crocheting, which is amigurumi, which is like these little Japanese figures, like stuffed animals. And it 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 has challenged me more than I thought it would. I thought I'd pick it up fairly quickly, and there's some of it I have, but I made a little stuffed dragon for my nephew that was born beginning of this year, and I love what I created. It's not good,
Right.
but I love it, and I grew from that experience. And every time I start another project, I take it out. I have to undo that project probably 6 or 7 times. Um, but every time I do it, I get a little better. I get a little better, and I get a little better. And so, like the creature I'm working on right now, it's a little narwhal. It's really cute. I'll have to send you a picture of it. But it's a little narwhal, and one fin is bigger than the other fin. It's not quite in the right spot. It's not great work. It's okay. But for me, I'm really proud of it. I'm really proud that I've learned what I have learned so far, and that I've done it like 99.4% of it I've done on my own.
Yeah.
The rest of it, my wife is like, "Hey, I can do this, or you can learn how to do it yourself, and I'll walk you through it." And I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna learn how to do it myself. Like, or I'm gonna learn from you. You teach me how to do this, and I'll
Right.
learn." And and I've really loved that process. I've really loved stepping into a world that I don't know anything about and giving it a shot and being okay with the results that come out. But I still know that like I've made a good attempt at it. Like
Right.
I've taken it out 6 or 7 times to get it right, or just to get the hand motion down.
Right.
Uh, and I think that's the important part of creating
Yeah.
is you have to have some discouragement, but you also have to be willing to pull yourself up and keep trying, keep
Right.
doing it.
And I think I think creators like the journey most of it, most of the
Right.
time. So it's kind of like, you may give it a shot, and then you may realize you don't like the process or you don't like the journey.
Yeah.
Move on to the next
Move
thing.
on to the next thing. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
At least you tried.
Yeah.
Like I,
Being open-minded about that learning process is super important.
yeah. And
Yeah.
at work we shoot so much. I'm
Yeah.
like, not everything is going to be good. It's just impossible.
Right.
But thankfully, you know, because we shoot so much, it's like,
Yeah. You
okay,
have
this one
something.
sucked, but next one might be okay.
Yeah.
You know, like I think because I'm been in an environment where we are always moving on to the next. There's
Yeah.
not a lot of time to sit and reflect on what
Wow.
happened. It's just
Yeah.
like, okay, that wasn't great. Let's do better next time.
Yeah.
And then it's so you kind of have to just s stop caring to a degree
Yeah.
and just going, I'm here because I am qualified.
Yeah.
I'll show them the next time, or
Yeah.
and it's
Well,
usually,
even just like doing the reps, like the reps
yeah,
of it are so important.
yeah,
Um,
totally,
and it just being again, I think that's where like my heart really sits in the idea of like doing good. Uh, you may not have hopefully your work is good to a sense, but the process of getting there, that doing the good work,
right,
is super important. Like
yeah,
doing the repetitions over and over again, and doing it well. I think
yeah,
that's really important.
yeah. And I think realizing that you gotta learn the small things in between
Yeah,
in order to do the full job later.
yeah, yeah, totally.
Um, yeah, oh,
That's
um,
good.